Okay, let's talk parentals. This is likely going to be triggering, so strap in. So, we have this unrealistic expectation of our parents to have this kind of perfect love. They should be perfect. They should raise us like this. They should be, loving us in the way we want to be loved. And it's futile, right? Our parents are loving us the best they can through their wounds. And even if that means giving you up for adoption as a baby, even if that means not being there much as a baby, they are doing the best they can through their lens of the world. And we have this expectation and comparison to other situations saying, the grass is greener on the other side. Like, my parent was so strict. I wish they were a little bit more relaxed. My parent was so relaxed, they didn't care. I wish they were more strict. And so there's the support, there's the challenge, and really the perfect combination for a healthy, well-rounded child is to have equal of both. And it is there, but we don't see it like that. We'll see our parent as demanding, as strict, as relaxed, as don't care. And we either end up being hyper independent or codependent. And it's because we're looking at things through our pains, through our hurts, through our triggers, rather than looking at things as they actually are. And so what tends to happen is, until these wounds are resolved, our perceptions of, something missing in childhood, or our perceptions of, mummy or daddy not being, the ideal parent. And no one is, by the way. There is not a single parent on the planet who gets it right. And that's our journey. Like, we incarnate to these parents, we incarnate into these situations, this time and place, for specific lessons for our soul. It's not as personal as you think it is. Like, there's a big reason for who and when we incarnate. But what happens is, we blame our parents for not being good enough. We blame our situation. And what we don't understand is, this is our karma. These are our lessons to learn in this lifetime. So what we do, if we don't actually understand this early on and heal these parts of ourselves early on that we've long ago discarded, the fractured self, then we'll repeat these patterns in our teenage years and in our adulthood, either in our romantic relationships, our friendships, could be with our work colleagues. And basically what we're being shown is that there's a part of us that we haven't yet owned, loved, and integrated. And we're calling that the part of our mum that we don't like, right? But it's actually a part of us. We're calling it the part of our dad that we don't like, but that's actually part of us. And it works both ways too. It's on the admiration side as well. If you're infatuated with one of your parents, if you have this like admiration for one of your parents, then that's a disowned part as well. And so until we take these parts back, until we own them, love them, integrate them, they will control our life. And we will so unaware of it. We will just be completely unconscious to it, because it's in the subconscious. We are not conscious. It is subconscious, below the conscious level. And so, these infatuations with our parents, we strive to make them happy, to get their approval, to be loved and to be like them. These parts of us that dislike our parents, then we strive not to be like them, right, to prove that we're better than them. And so we're constantly being controlled by these subconscious beliefs, patterns, programs that we're not even aware of. When our parent pisses us off, or when someone pisses us off, that's actually an indicator that this part of you is ready to be taken back home. And that's how you heal that childhood trauma. That's how you stop those repeating patterns generation after generation after generation. If you were to go to talk to your parents and say to them, what do you perceive was missing as a child from your parents, you'll likely find that it's similar to what you perceive was missing in your childhood. And so these patterns repeat, right? And what we condemn, we breed, become, or we attract. And anytime there is something that pisses you off about someone, it's within you, and it's a disowned part within you. And so if you feel like your mum wasn't affectionate and you really missed that as a child, you might be driven to be more affectionate. And yet your pride of how affectionate you are will block the shame of where you're not affectionate in your life, because you'll have both, right? You'll be affectionate and not affectionate, but you'll have a infatuation and a bias towards being affectionate because you believe that that was missing in your life. And so you'll have a tendency to be over affectionate to compensate. And this happens with our parents too, right? They're overcompensating. They're being too little, too much, too whatever, based on their own wounds. And so we, as individuals, we recreate our childhood in order to be right, in order to change the situation, in order to win the situation. But there was nothing wrong in the first place. There was nothing to win. There was nothing to overcome. It's really, the goal is in seeing the divine perfection in any situation. That's when you become free of it. That's when you stop the pattern repeating, the karma. So until you are ready to go there, you'll have all of these strategies in place of how to avoid it. But the moment you are ready to go there, and there's a real danger in avoidance, because I often say that it's like putting a band-aid over a gaping wound. That wound not only keeps repeating until you see it, but it also keeps escalating. So the pattern will come to you, and this part of you will come to you and say, and tap you on the shoulder and say, hey, I'm ready to be owned, loved, and integrated. And we don't listen. And we might notice the pattern repeating in our life, but we don't know what to do about it, or we just try and ignore it. And this is where escapism comes in. We go shopping, we watch TV, we do drugs, we drink, we whatever to get out of that, to escape from that. And then the part of you comes again and knocks a little louder this time. And that's when you really start to get triggered. And if you don't heal this part of you, that voice, that knock will get louder and louder and louder. And all of a sudden this slap becomes a punch to the face and you're knocked out. And that could come in the form of disease. That could come in the form of, some over the top emotional outburst, violence, etc. And so that part's not going anywhere. You can't get rid of a part of you. You can't get rid of a part of your parents. And in fact, they've given you the divine gift of life. And that was their only job in this lifetime was to give you that gift. Anything else is your journey on this lifetime. It's a co-creation with them to work through your karma. There's a common mistake with karma. People say karma's a bitch, but karma's not a moral thing. It's not like I lied to someone, so I'm going to have a karmic backfiring. Karma is purely your shadow, and it's these patterns that repeat in this life until we get the message. And once we get the message, then karma's no longer a bitch, and karma's our best friend. And karma is our best friend because she's trying to show us these parts of ourselves so that we can own, love, and integrate them and take them back home and become whole again. And this is the journey. This is the journey of life. You know, we come here as souls to experience the full spectrum. Um, and you know, from our small humanness, and I get it, like we are here to experience the human aspect as well as the divine spirit aspect. Um, and but we look at it through the human lens, and you know, we become victims because we blame our parents, we blame our relationships, we blame everyone outside of us for what's going on actually within us. And you know, this life that we get to live is very much like a video game. You know, we get to choose the player that we want to be, we get to choose the game we want to play, we get to choose the difficulty levels. And as we experience challenges in our lifetime, we get to up level through that game. Now, what I see a lot of, and don't get me wrong, I've certainly done this in the past myself, is we hand over the controller to our game to other people. And we do that through blame. We do that by saying, you did this to me. Now I'm recreating this pattern. This is your fault. You're to blame. You know, you're toxic. You're narcissistic, on and on and on and on. And what we're doing is we're giving that person our controller to our game, and we're putting ourselves in the victim's seat instead of the creator. And the moment you move yourself out of that victim um, that victim role and into the creator role, you take back your controller and you get to play the game of life how you choose to play it. And we do that by accepting full responsibility, radical responsibility for everything that we create in this life. And we understand that our external reality is a direct reflection of our internal reality. And when we're able to do that, we can say, right, this is what's happening in my romantic relationships. This is what's happening in my work. This is what's happening in my career. This is what's happening in my finances. This is what's happening in my friendships. What is going on within me that is creating this? Right. And then we start to ask questions to make this subconscious information conscious so we can actually heal the thing. Now, you know, you can sit there and say affirmations and try and be positive and all that jazz, but you're not getting to the subconscious content that's actually controlling you. So until you make the subconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. That's a spin on Carl Jung's quote. And it's true. Your parents haven't done anything wrong. Your next door neighbor hasn't done anything wrong. Your ex-boyfriend hasn't done anything wrong. It's about understanding the lessons that they're trying to teach us in this lifetime. And that could be to be more assertive. It could be to be softer. It could be, you know, to really own like how stupid we are at times, how brilliant we are at times. So I hope this helps. This question was kind of sent to me by a client, so I just wanted to sort of develop a little bit around this parental impact and how it influences our life. So what you can actually do to start to heal these patterns so that you don't repeat them again and again and again is to write a list of things that really your parents do, your mom, your dad, your guardian, your grandparents, whoever it is that raised you. You can write a list of things that they did or didn't do that really pissed you off. And then you can write a list of things that you really admire about them as well, and start to see where you do these things. That's the first step. If you can find where you've done the same behavior, the same action, then you start to own it a little. Okay. And this is the path to healing, because you could be like I said before, you can be infatuated with your parent, and that's controlling you just as much as if you dislike them. So when you start to own these parts that you're seeing in your parents, you become whole and you break that attachment to pleasing them or pissing them off or whatever it is that you're subconsciously trying to create. You no longer feel the need to do that, right? You get to create from you. What is it you want? What is it you're here to bring forth into the world? I love you so much. Thank you for watching. I'd love to hear your feedback. Comment below what's something about your parents that has pissed you off over your lifetime? What's something that they did or didn't do that's really upset you? And I'll see if I can help you nut it out.